Hello everyone, this is Nirmal here for Technique and this is the detailed review of the Lumia 540 dual SIM. So the Lumia 540 was announced in India a couple of weeks back, and this is a successor of the Lumia 535, which is an extremely popular device in India. So this device has upgraded specs when compared to the 535. It has an HD display, that's a 1280 by 720p display. It's powered by the Snapdragon 200 quad-core chipset and 1GB RAM. There is an upgraded 8 megapixel camera, a front-facing 5 megapixel camera, and it runs Windows Phone 8.1 with the update 2 and is upgradable to Windows 10. It also comes with a 2200 mAh battery, which is again an upgrade from the Lumia 535. So that was the spec aspect. Now moving on to the design and build quality. So you can see that design wise the Lumia 540 has a lot of similarities with the 640. If you have had a look at the previous the 5X series of Lumia devices, you can see that the 5X series have always had a curved rear panel, be it the Lumia 520, 525, 530 or even 535. But now with 540, what Microsoft has done, it has a similar design as that of the 6X series, that the 640, 635, etc. And you can see that the rear panel is having a sharper edges than the curved rear panel, and the camera and the flash unit is at the rear panel along with the Microsoft branding, and the speakers located at the bottom. So design wise this device looks very similar to the 640, and a lot of resemblance with the 640 in terms of the design and build quality. And build quality, as usual, the Lumia build quality is really exceptional and gives a great feel to the hand, the solid material finish, and overall the device feels solid in hands and looks pretty good as well. Now moving on to the display, the Lumia 540 comes with an HD display, that's 1280 by 720p display. That's an upgrade from the QHD display on the Lumia 535. And one of the major issues with the Lumia 535 was the touch issues, but Microsoft seemed to have fixed those issues in 540 and does feel much smoother and easy to use as well. The touch response is also very good. The display as such is pretty good, but there are a couple of things missing on this display. That's Corning Gorilla Glass protection is missing when compared to the 640, and also there is no super sensitive touch which is available in mid-range devices. But the good thing is that it has a clear black technology and also IPS display, so the display is very good in terms of the overall viewability, and the clear black technology makes this display superior to a lot of other devices in this price category. So overall we are pretty happy with the display being offered on this device. It's pretty smooth, the colors look pretty natural and even easy to read as well. Now moving on to the software and performance. So software wise, this runs Windows Phone 8.1 with the latest update 2. So the update 2 brings in slight changes. You can see the all apps here, and in the settings you can see there is a slight change. You can the settings are grouped according to the categories. So you can see if the network and wireless, personalization, account, system, and a lot of grouping has been done with this latest upgrade. And whenever you want to go to the particular settings, just click this option and it will pop up a new grouping option where you can easily go to the options. So that's the new change with the Windows Phone 8.1. So overall software wise there is improvement, and the performance looks pretty good. There is no lag or issues, even though this has the Snapdragon 200 quad-core chipset, very similar to the Lumia 535 in terms of the overall performance. But having said that, it's high time Microsoft stopped using the Snapdragon 200 quad-core chipset and adopted the Snapdragon 410 4G enabled chipset on the mid-range Lumia devices, because most of the Android phones are now powered by the 410 quad-core chipset in the mid-range category, and it's high time Microsoft start using that chipset. But having said that, there is no issues in terms of the overall performance. It's pretty smooth, no lag or issues, and the overall multitasking is also pretty good. So we are pretty happy with the performance. But having said that, we would have liked a much better processor on this device. Now this phone has 1GB RAM and it's pretty capable device in terms of the overall performance. We never noticed any lag or issues. The gaming performance was again pretty decent. Since it has an HD display, the gaming performance is much better than what we saw on the 535, but it's slightly lower than what we saw on the 640, because this has the 200 chipset while the 640 has the 400 quad-core chipset. So that was the gaming performance. Then talking about the call quality and the speaker performance, it's pretty good in this price range. There was no issues with the calls, and there was no dropped calls or signal issues, and the speaker strength is also pretty good. The speaker is located here, the rear panel, and the performance is pretty good. Now this phone comes with 8GB internal storage, out of which around 4 to 4.5GB is available in the first boot, which is pretty decent storage. Now good thing about this device is that it supports micro SD card up to 128GB, and you can install apps directly onto the SD card, something very good on the Lumia devices if the app supports installation on the micro SD card. So that was the internal storage aspect. So overall a decent internal storage being offered by Microsoft on this device. Now talking about the camera performance on the Lumia 540, so this phone comes with again an upgraded specs when compared to the 535, which had a 5 megapixel rear as well as 5 megapixel front camera. Now this has 8 megapixel rear camera with LED flash and a 5 megapixel front camera. Now the Lumia camera app is a default camera app on the Lumia devices, and now you have the option to manually control everything when you take the photos. You can control the white balance, ISO, exposure, shutter speed, etc., and does give a pretty good options in terms of the camera performance. So now we tested the camera performance, and we can say that this is definitely an improvement over the 535, which only had the 5 megapixel camera. The photos looks pretty good. I mean, decent clarity is there. The color quality also looks better, but the sharpness levels are not really that good when compared to the 640. So if you compare with the 535 camera, definitely there is improvement, but when you compare with the 640 camera, it's slightly lower in terms of the overall performance. The low light performance was also pretty decent and much better than the 535. Again, there is pretty decent clarity in low light photos, but there is also noise creeping into these photos, but then you can't complain too much because this is not a high-end smartphone, it's a mid-range phone, although the performance we would have expected slightly better in the Lumia 540, but it does not really live up to the expectation of the 640 or even the 730 in terms of the overall performance, but it is definitely improvement over the 535. Now one of the disappointing aspects with this camera is that it can record only 480p videos. That's really disappointing because a mid-range phone should ideally have 1080p recording. This has to do with the chipset. The 200 quad-core chipset, although supports 720p, Microsoft hasn't implemented 720p video recording on the Lumia devices so far, and this is very similar to the 535, so there is no improvement in that aspect, and the video quality is pretty poor on this device. Now the front facing 5 megapixel camera is pretty good for selfies and video calls, and does perform pretty well with great color quality, and the overall performance of the front camera was very good. Now finally talking about the battery performance, this phone comes with a 2200 mAh battery, and the battery capacity is slightly improved when compared to the 535. It's slightly lower than what you see on the 640 with a 2500 mAh capacity. So while the capacity is lower than the 640, the performance is pretty decent, and you can easily squeeze in 1 day of usage with this battery. And if you are using 535, you can definitely see some improvement here. There is slightly better battery capacity, and the performance is pretty decent. So all in all, we would say the battery performance is not bad. It's pretty decent. You can get 1 day of usage with an average usage on this device. So now summing up, this device was priced rupees 10,200 in India. That's official pricing, but right now it's selling for around 9k. So that is the pricing we expected from Microsoft, around the 8.5 to 9k or even lower. But Microsoft didn't get right with the pricing, and it was overpriced by around 1.5k. Now we have a pricing which is much more competitive. The 9k pricing is much more competitive. Although some Androids have better specs in this price point, this device is pretty decent value for money for 9k if you're getting for that price. But if you have additional 1k to spend, we would definitely suggest to pick the Lumia 640, which is now priced around 10k and offers much better performance, except for the front facing camera, which is just 1 megapixel. So if you're not really worried about the front facing 5 megapixel camera, the Lumia 640 with the Snapdragon 400 quad-core chipset is always better value for money for the additional 1k you spend. Now if you're a 535 user, does this phone make worth to upgrade? We would say yes, it is definitely upgrade better than the 535 in terms of the overall performance, the display, the camera, and also the battery performance. So if you're already a 535 user, this is definitely worth the upgrade. But if you're looking to buy a new Windows Phone in the mid-range category, we would definitely suggest you to buy the 640 if you have the additional 1K to spend, or even the 730, which is although a 6-month-old phone, it is definitely great performance in terms of the camera and overall aspects. So that was the detailed review of the Lumia 540 dual SIM. So hope you like this video. If you have any queries, drop in a comment and we'll be glad to help you out with the queries. If you like this video, do hit the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.